We're in trouble in America. We're losing our moral bearings. We're losing our respect for the rule of law. And you look around America today and things are bad and they're getting worse. We're broke. We're dispirited. We're scared. We've been moving closer and closer to socialism, further away from God, the Constitution, doing what's right in our own eyes, and all the while, not noticing that it's killing us. It's killing our nation.
Just beginning.
Americans tend to be too comfortable, slowly but surely turning their backs on the sacrifices their forefathers made for liberty. Why is that? As bad as it is, as horrible as it seems, as unlikely as it appears that we can escape, what we're going through can actually be a vitally necessary experience for us, and one that is ultimately very healthy and liberating for this country. The truth needs to be told in all the dark places, because it's the truth that sets us free.
That gives me chills every time I see it. Welcome, everybody. WorldNetDaily is live on the air, and Trump is cleaning house. Holy cow. There was a tense Oval Office visit with President Joe Biden. Yes, he is still president. He is alive and somewhat kicking, and Trump was there, and we're going to get into that. But there is a lot of powerhouse cabinet picks happening through Trump and his social media account. He releases these things on Truth Social, and then we get to find out who is in the cabinet. We're going to go over a bunch of those picks coming up here, but first, of course, Josh Turnbow is back in the driver's seat. What's up, brother?
Everybody? Hey, man, how are you, Matt? Happy to be back.
Yeah, Josh, I have to ask you. There has been, because you've been gone for a couple of days. There has been so much winning. It reminds
so much winning.
It reminds me of when he said there was going to be so much winning. You're going to get sick of winning, but I'm not necessarily sick of it yet. I'm just sort of like, wow, is this really happening?
Winning on every level, Matt. I mean, go look at your 401 account if you have one, 401k account, Bitcoin. Like Pete Hegseth. We're going to talk about Pete Hegseth. It feels like we're in some kind of movie. It's going so well. As a doomer, it makes me nervous. But man,
I know, because you feel like the other shoe's going to drop any moment.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. What's going to happen? This is Camelot all over again.
Well, this is why, and this is why I've been very, very concerned about where the President-elect Trump is, and what he's up to. And this first week he spent most of his time, if not all of his time, at Mar-a-Lago. And I thought, great, just stay at Mar-a-Lago. You've got your golf course there.
Yeah.
You've got a skiff. You've got everything you need. People can come and go. You got all your security. You don't have to worry about anything. Just stay there until January 20th.
Maybe stay in the bunker if there is one, because at this point, even the Pentagon probably is thinking about sending a cruise missile Trump's way, because he is going to disrupt everything about the government, and it looks like not just drain, but completely dismantle and relocate the elements of the swamp, which is revelatory. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. All right, folks, we want to hear your thoughts as well. So post it up in the comment section, whether you're on X, on Rumble, YouTube, wherever you're at, post up in the comment section. I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of opinions about some of these picks. Everybody's saying like, well, that person's still a warmonger, or that person's still a rhino. It's like, okay, relax. We haven't even gotten there yet.
Don't get greedy, everybody. Don't get greedy.
Yeah, we're going to get to January 12th. He's going to come in. There's going to be these people in there. And just remember, he can fire these people at any point.
Definitely.
Fire these people at any point.
Rubio can be fired, folks. He can be fired.
Exactly. So, but we know the first person that's not going to be there on January 20th is Joe Biden. And President-elect Trump visited the White House today, and it was absolute mayhem in the Oval Office. I don't even know if the press knew what to do with themselves. Watch this video.
Was that like Matt? I feel like that was were they just trying to make it chaotic? I mean,
it reminded me of the two like king gorillas behind the glass, and then the teachers, like all the little kids are just and they're like, okay, let's move along now. Let's go see the giraffes. Like they're just and did you see the moment where he like kind of like made a quip to Biden and Biden laughed, like pointing out
that was the I looked really closely, Matt. That was the body double Biden. His eyes are puffier. That wasn't the real Joe Biden.
You have your flip chart where you're like, oh, it's
I hold it up next to the screen. No, that's not him. That's the body double for sure.
Right. These cabinet picks are like they're totally disrupting the system here. And here's a screen share. We've got this tweet here. Let me put on my glasses though. Talk about a disruptive change. This person here says, cynical pubulus says, I'm disheartened to see so many MAGA supporters saying that Trump's cabinet picks won't be able to beat the swamp. This is true with his latest pick, Pete Hegseth, which we'll get into in a second, as Secretary of Defense. Pete is a warrior who never saw the E-ring of the Pentagon. And some supporters are saying that the military-industrial complex and the Pentagon deep state will make mincemeat of him, and he disagrees, and he goes on to talk about what history will do here in terms of folks who have done effective disruptive change. Look at this list over the history of disruptive change. Moses, Leonardo da Vinci, Galileo, Martin Luther, Abraham Lincoln, Louis Pasteur, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, General George C. Marshall, Jackie Robinson, Ronald Reagan, Thatcher, Pope John Paul, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump himself. These are change agents, and that is so true, right?
Matt, I can already see the New York Times headline like Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth refuses to use pronouns. You know what I mean? Like they'll just be like preaching to their stupid audience. It won't matter. Meanwhile, I like to use this analogy. It really does feel like we're at this moment where like Trump is, he's the new king. And the king can't trust anyone in the court. So he's walked into the village and he says, you, blacksmith, you are my general now, which is not bad at all. Like this is a working class individual. And Trump's gone so far outside of the swamp. I think we have this Drudge image. They don't know how to think about this. And I knew, of course, Pentagon freaks out. Defense nominee stuns Pentagon. Who? Yeah, perfect. That should be... that's our hopeful response for any of the picks that Trump has. That they not only do they not know, they gotta concoct a whole idea of how to get to this person because they were never in the influence cycle.
Right. And they won't learn either because they're having the same reaction that they had in 2015. When people started saying, Donald Trump is looking pretty strong, and everybody's like, "What are you? What?" No, there's all those compilations like Donald Trump will never become president.
Why would anyone vote for Hitler, Matt?
Yeah, why would right? And Pete Hegseth. I mean, the bona fides on this guy is incredible. I mean, a 20-year military veteran. Guantanamo Bay, Iraq, Afghanistan. He awarded many different types of medals, in battle. The guy went to Princeton. He went to another prestigious college. The guy is smart as a whip. And here's his book, American Crusade. The guy look at this guy. I mean, why wouldn't you want a guy like this as head of the Secretary of Defense?
Yeah, this guy, he looks tough. So, like, if we just kind of go back to 2016, we were all pretty hyped about James Mattis, right? Like, oh, awesome. Trump's bringing in Mattis, Bulldog Mattis, Mad Dog, right? Yeah, and then we're all so excited because, this guy's like famous Marine who, has come in and is thought to be a tough guy. But no, he was a swamp monster like everyone else. And, he's over at a think tank at Stanford now, a conservative think tank, but nonetheless, he's part of the neocon ilk. and Hegseth won't be. So we're excited.
Yeah, very excited. Charlie Kirk tweeted out posted over on X another great explanation of bringing in an outsider to fix the military here. I won't go into reading all of this, but he's got a great explanation. So we're going to repost that, and y'all can read that. But even better, Scott Jennings, who kills it over on CNN. I mean, this guy single-handedly just dismantles every single one of those loony leftist panelists over at CNN. But he had this to say about the reaction to Pete Hegseth over on CNN.
Anyone have confidence in the current leadership of the Pentagon and the way the defense situation has been operating for the last several years? I mean, from the Afghanistan pullout, which was an extreme debacle for which no one was held accountable. We've had spy balloons flying over the United States. We built a $300 million pier as a public relations stunt, which wound up killing an American service member. I'd say I've had just about enough of the so-called insiders running the Defense Department. I think we ought to give Pete Hegseth a chance because he's got two insiders. All the criticism of him is that he's not the expected Washington pick, and I'm just saying to you that the American people just voted against the expected Washington pick. So he's got 20 years in service, Afghanistan, Iraq, 2 Bronze Stars, Princeton, Harvard. Yeah, he's on TV, but so are the rest of us.
By the way, that list you just gave,
I think he ought
that
to
list
be
you just gave is really interesting because you highlighted a bunch of things that the civilian leadership of the country decided on. In the military, their job was just to execute. They executed.
How did it go?
I'm just saying.
How did it go?
In terms of the decision making, you're assigning decision making responsibility to the military over things that civilians are responsible for.
So you make a good point. The civilian leadership made decisions, and then the people they put in charge of the Pentagon carried it out. And it was all pretty much a disaster. So now we have a new president who I think got elected in part because of some of those disasters, and he's going to put in some of the non-insiders in charge of not just this agency, but a bunch of them. Now, look, they've got to perform. They've got to perform. I mean, we've got 53 U.S. senators that are Republicans. And Pete Hegseth, he's an American hero. The man won 2 Bronze Stars for his service, and he's been a champion for veterans. He's going to have to go up there just like everybody else and prove his knowledge of how to do this job. He's not immune from that, but we ought to give this man a chance, in my opinion.
Heck yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
And what's that, Bob Woodward up there? The deep state mouthpiece, Bob Woodward?
Deep throat himself. I mean, Bob Woodward. I don't know, the audience may have not heard this, but like as we get farther and farther away from...
Or was it Carl Bernstein? It might have been Carl Bernstein, but go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, but these guys, Bernstein, Woodward, they're just clowns. They were propped up. They weren't as actually, revelatory as we thought. That's why they haven't done anything new. And dude, Scott Jennings is awesome. Like, let's get that guy on some speaking tours, man. He's so
Seriously.
great now, right?
Yeah,
he just slaps the CNN morons constantly.
Yeah, and
Beautiful.
it's one of those things where we're saying like, oh, maybe he should get his own show, and it's like, no, keep him right there. I mean, the guy's attacking the worst people.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he is doing an awesome job. He needs to go on there, and it reminds me, we're going to get into this about how I won't jump ahead first. Let's do this because I want to get through these picks. So you're going to see a lot of stuff online that says, oh, Trump has picked this person, Trump has picked this person. For instance, here today it was rumored that Tulsi Gabbard would be appointed the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence. This was tweeted out by Nick Sorter, who's he's a great account on X, does follow a lot of the breaking news and everything. But I just want everybody to know that yes, I mean, would Tulsi Gabbard be great in this situation? I think I think she has a lot to prove if she were to sit down in front of the Senate as well. However, everybody likes Tulsi right now, and she seems to have a good grasp on intelligence, on military affairs and foreign affairs and stuff. So that would be great. But you have to go to Donald Trump's Truth Social account. That's where he's putting out the communications that confirm that this is going on. So this is his account over at Truth Social. He retweeted a couple of fan stuff here, but this is what it looks like right here. Boom! I am pleased to announce that the governor and former Congresswoman from South Dakota, Kristi Noem, will be head of the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. So that's an official communication there. So speaking of Kristi Noem, governor of South Dakota, one of the few governors to never shut down or impose any of the COVID stuff during the pandemic. She got well known for that, was well regarded for that. There are some other questionable things that people have taken issues with her over the years, but she seems to have always been a Trump supporter and somebody who may be really good on this issue. She is in South Dakota. I don't think they have a huge immigration problem like they do in Arizona and Texas, but maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, she's awesome. I mean, South Dakota, great state. Did a vacation there a couple years ago. Beautiful.
Oh, look at you.
And actually, when we were there, Matt, we found like this whole community of expats from California. So they fled there because it was a freer state. So pretty awesome.
Right. All right. So we'll pay attention to that. Over in the fun part of the government is that there now. I'm not about creating new government agencies, but the agency, the Department of Government Efficiency. Not only is Elon Musk going to be a part of this, which we always knew, but we didn't quite know where Vivek Ramaswamy was going to fit in all of this new administration. But he is teaming up with Elon Musk for this government efficiency, which of course now we can officially put the Office Space meme out there as this is the official team.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Okay. I don't want to be the one to point out the irony yet on this, but the fact that an Indian American is going to be walking into a lot of these places and sending people packing, the irony of that is not lost on me, or the humor of that is not lost on me. But I think it's pretty awesome. Those two teaming up.
I mean, there's been talk of, and we're just kind of seeing the leaks come out about this now, but not only are they, as part of the efficiency, they're going to move whole government agencies out of DC. And that's phenomenal because all the power is just focused in the swamp, all of the buildings. So everyone's, incestuous. They always see each other at the same restaurants. They block vote as blue Democrats, and no longer. So let's put the Department of Forestry, say for instance, in Idaho, Matt, and take these groups, essentially these power structures that the government, the American dollars pay for, and move them to the states, and no longer have the horrible elite influence of the establishment in DC.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good plan because everything that's been leading up to this point has been terrible. So if you're going to have some of these agencies, it just doesn't work. So on Monday, when Joe Kovacs was here, we were talking about Tom Homan being appointed to run the border. I don't know what the exact title is going to be yet, but he is going to begin workplace immigration raids, Josh. If you are an illegal, get out of the country now, says Charlie Kirk. He's warning you. It will save us time and energy and spare you the humiliation. The days of gaming America's immigration system with impunity are over. Get out.
Tom Homan, do we have a picture of him? He looks like he would be like one of either the Kingpin or the police commissioner in like a Batman movie or something. He looks like a tough dude. And tough dudes on our side, in the interest of the American people that carry that's what we want. And he's like he's a hardened cop. So, we've had this like fake compassion forever. You know what I mean? Like but it's illogical. I mean,
there he is.
He's built like a brick house, of course. Big old dude. This is what you want. This is an ethical enforcer. Right.
Yes, you want him on your team.
Yeah.
When you're if to use another sports analogy, it's like when you're watching another player, on another team, just completely bash your quarterback every play. He's blitzing it's like you want him on your team.
We've kind of been in the like virtue signal fake ethics world for so long. They can say things to us like you're going to separate families, but Tom Homan brings it back to the idea that we have laws in the country. We have agreed to those laws. We're So essentially, when you kind of bring out this virtue signal of separating families, what you're saying is it's okay to break the laws we all agreed upon. And so, like, you watch the left, like Tom Homan's his own dictatorial self. He's doing all this on his own. He literally goes back to, this is what the law agrees on, and we will enforce those laws.
Yes.
What a novel idea.
Yeah, not very novel idea. Well, the hits just keep on coming. Like I can't wrap my hand around all these wins because I've been a huge fan. I've been a huge fan of John Ratcliffe. When John at the end of the Trump administration, John Ratcliffe, he was in Congress, but then he became head of DNI, and now he's going to be the head of the CIA. Like, this is. If there's any appointment that should scare the living daylights out of the deep state, it is John Ratcliffe at the CIA. Roll the tape of this guy, because this guy, you want to talk about another bulldog, this guy is a panther. Watch this guy.
Yeah.
The approximately 50,000 text messages that I've seen with your personal beliefs like F Trump, stop Trump, impeach Trump, go ahead and confirm on the record that none of that occurred on an official FBI device or on official FBI time. Go ahead and do that.
Sir, no, they did. Many of them did.
Oh, they did. Okay, so
50,000, sir.
So really, no, I'll give you a chance at the end. So what you really meant to say was that when you said you never crossed that bright, inviolable line, what you meant to say was, except for 50,000 times, except for hundreds of times a day where I went back and forth, expressing my personal opinions about effing Trump and stopping Trump and impeaching Trump on official FBI phones, on official FBI time. Other than that, you never cross that line. I'm sure there are 13,000 FBI agents out there that are beaming with pride at how clearly you've drawn that line. Agent Strucker, you're starting to understand why some folks out there don't believe a word you say, and why it's especially troubling that you, of all people, are at the center of the 3 highest profile investigations in recent times that involve President Trump, and that you were in charge of an investigation investigating, gathering evidence against Donald Trump, a subject that you hated, that you wanted to F him, to stop him, to impeach him. And do you see why that might call into question everything you've touched on all of those investigations? Chairman, I'm done with this witness, and I yield back.
Man, fiery. That was awesome. Yeah, fantastic. Matt, you look pleased. How you doing the meme? Doing the meme?
I'm just so pleased. You guys want to watch that again? Should we watch that again? Yeah, that was incredible. And here's the thing too, Josh. He's going to be the head of the CIA, and the CIA's mandate is foreign affairs, right? Which means that, which is good, but it also means that that he's going to make sure that the CIA is not meddling in domestic affairs and using the department to spy on American citizens and to do the very thing that Strzok was accused of there, which is turning our government's weapons against itself, against duly elected presidents for no other reason than TDS.
Right, which hopefully what we'll see is that these people are going to pay a legal price for the illegal behavior that they worked against our president so aggressively, a sitting president. And now it's time to pay the piper. These are law enforcement groups that broke the law, and that actually has a larger penalty than just like an average person, because they've not only broken our trust, but like they're in a place of power. It's way more egregious. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then 2 other names that have been floating around are Marco Rubio and Mike Pompeo as being part of his cabinet somehow, maybe as Secretary of State again or whatnot, or what have you. But again, those are just rumors. They have not been confirmed. They have not been posted by Trump on his Truth Social account. Who was it? Raheem Kasim posted this on X, just as a reminder about who Marco Rubio is.
I bet you all know. You all have friends. You all have friends that are thinking about voting for Donald Trump. Friends, do not let friends vote for con artists.
Just a small.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just a small little tidbit of Marco Rubio, and granted he's been standing behind next to Donald Trump and they've been friendly over the last couple of years. But I mean, when you know who's going to be the king, you kind of Why would you want to step on his toes? I don't know. I mean,
if he does pick him, there'll have to be a mea culpa of like he'll have to come out and be like, I've always liked him. I may have said things. JD did a little bit, right?
Right, sure. Yeah.
Hey,
we'll
Matt,
see.
I want to just pay attention. We got great comments coming in from the folks. Saved in Virginia. Unfortunately, Strzok ended up receiving $1.2 million in a settlement. So with the Justice Department, that's a payout. That's a payout from him. Maybe he'll use that with the woman he was cheating on his wife with. I don't know if they're still together. Other comments here. No to Pompeo, no to Rubio, says Tiny loves Boston. Thank you,
agree.
Tiny love seeing your comments. Guys, we'll try to get to your comments. If you throw those in, we will we'll address them because a lot of them are great.
Yeah,
let's
and
see.
Here's Tucker's warning on Pompeo, just for you, who put a comment.
The next day, I'll never forget it. I went quail hunting, and I was driving back, and I got a phone call from Mike Pompeo's lawyer. Mike Pompeo was the Secretary of State, but before then, he was the director of the CIA. And in that position, he plotted the murder of Julian Assange. So he is a criminal as far as I'm concerned. But his lawyer called me and said, you should know that anyone who tells you the contents of classified documents has committed a crime. He's threatening me. It was in my car. With my dog sitting next to me, I'll never forget this. And I said, are you really saying that to reveal that the U.S. government had a role in the murder of a democratically elected president, to say that out loud, that's the crime? What about the actual crime, which is murdering a president? Like, you're covering up for that, Mike Pompeo.
What did he say to that?
He had no response at all. And so Mike Pompeo is the one who pressed Trump to keep those documents secret. And so it's like, what's crazy to me is not just that Pompeo did that. I think Pompeo is a really sinister person and a criminal. I think that because the facts suggest that. He was caught. Yahoo News, Mike Isikoff wrote a long piece on this several years ago. His employees went to Mike Isikoff and said, hey, Mike Pompeo is plotting to murder Julian Assange, who's never even been charged with a crime in the United States, as CIA director. That's illegal. You're not allowed. Federal employees are not allowed to just kill people they don't like. Okay, just to set the baseline here. So that's who Mike Pompeo is. But he somehow intimidated Trump into not releasing this. Well, okay, that's all bad, right? I think it's criminal behavior. What's crazy is how Mike Pompeo is treated. He's treated as like a Republican poobah in good standing. He fully expects to become the Secretary of Defense in a Trump administration, which is like completely insane. Why would you take a criminal and give him nuclear weapons? Okay, that's my view. I think it's a common sense view. And like he goes to fundraisers and dinners and everyone's like, hey, Mike Pompeo. It's like, no, you're the guy who kept information the public has a right to know secret. You're the guy who plotted the murder of someone who committed no crime. You are the outlaw. You are the bad guy. But no, he's treated as like, like a pillar of Republican Washington. I think it's mind-bending to watch that.
I wonder what he really thinks.
Dang, Tucker always holds back, right?
Yeah.
Matt, I have a comment on this. So yeah. I've been struggling with understanding this for a long time. And I think what it is when we think about people like the neocon warhawks and Mike Pompeo, we have to remember the world that they were a part of, the world that formed them, was the Cold War era of nuclear attack at any moment, hide under your desk, get into the bunker, and fight the Soviets, a legitimate enemy at all costs, right? That's the world Mike Pompeo came from. And he still carries over those ideas into today. And America must be the hegemon of the world. We must be the police. But also, he sees himself as like some kind of CIA director from like one of the Mission Impossible movies where, we're plotting and killing people. And that line of who should be killed or who's dangerous really only amounts to like this big item of threat to America and not much more defined than that. So And think about him, how immoral it is, but it is not the same world where we're waiting for the Soviets to nuke us. We've moved closer to that, thankfully, thanks to the Biden administration, but it's a different time. And these people don't realize that we don't need their ideas anymore, because those ideas are old and dangerous and disloyal to the leader we've chosen.
And even if you wanted to give them some shade and say, hey, those ideas were good for the time, what was going on at the time, because we never did end up, we still haven't launched nuclear weapons, so thankfully that hasn't happened in mass, across, movie style like. But it makes me think about the appointment of Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense, because this guy understands as a person, as a younger man who had gone through the military and has come out on the other side, written a book about it. He's Harvard and Princeton educated. He's spent time as part of the Fox News channel. So he's acutely aware and paying attention to what is going on and what the threats are out there. I saw a video of him talking about how China has these long-range supersonic missiles that could take out our aircraft carriers like that. We wouldn't even know it. And our aircraft carrier arsenal is the gem of our entire military force. I mean, we rule the world because of our aircraft carriers. And if China's developed weapons to take those out, those supersonic missiles like that, then where do we stand? And hopefully we're not necessarily in that position, but we know when someone like Pete Hegseth is talking about that's the kind of guy you need in power at the Pentagon to keep us ahead of that. The good news is, Josh, is that the president's own son, Don Jr. here, agrees with all of us, and he's on it. Dave Smith tweeted out, the Stop Pompeo movement is great, but it's not enough. We need maximum pressure to keep all neocons and warhawks out of the Trump administration. And there's Trump Jr. there saying he agrees at least 300%. And he's on it.
He agrees 300.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So that's good news.
And it's also like, with the exception, and folks, if you're out there watching this right now going like, what are they talking about? I thought Big Mike Pompeo was a great guy. Yeah, we thought he was. Just we know now that he was not. And think about how the fact that his name is even floating out there reveals that, there's some kind of loyalty from Trump, even though we know there's a lot of anecdotal stories of Mike Pompeo undermining Trump at every turn, but never directly to the man. And that's probably still why he's still around. And honestly, folks, let's stop bringing him in for speeches. And he speaks all over the country now, gets a lot of money to do that. Let's knock that off. Okay. We know officially that he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
And maybe he can make that right, but not in this administration. Please, Lord.
Yeah, and he did get a speaking slot at the RNC. He was one of the few neocons that had a speaking spot there. I was in the building, and I remember distinctly hearing 2 times during the RNC when there were audible boos. You may not have heard it on TV, folks, but there was boos in the crowd for twice. Once was for Mitch McConnell. Yeah, we could talk about that coming up. And secondly, there was some boos for Mike Pompeo. So there are some folks out there that get it. And
good.
Again, listening to Tucker Carlson talk about his experiences as somebody who's been in the know for a very long time in DC circles, it's very telling. So yeah. All right. Well, let's tell everybody about the Zelenko Protocol Emergency Medicine Kit. It's winter. Yes, it's winter, folks. Cold and flu season is upon us, and you need to protect your family and have your immune system prepped and ready. There he is, Dr. Zelenko, the late, great Dr. Zelenko. This offers immune-boosting supplements like zinc and quercetin to naturally defend against sickness. The products are kosher, they're non-GMO, they're made in America, and if you scan that QR code right now, it'll take you to the site where you can get 5% off if you use the code WND in your purchase. The link is also below in the description on all the sites here. And you need to get this for the season.
Yeah, I mean, guys,
up, Josh.
Matt, like the minute I hear the coughing in my house, it's time to get the Z Shield in you. You know what I mean? If you have kids, or if you have folks around you, you want to protect your immune system. And this is like, I don't remember other than drinking orange juice in the past of thinking about this, but now we know that things like quercetin specifically is anti-inflammatory, right? Inflammation is how you get sick. I'm supposed to say that I'm not a doctor, but I don't know if that's true. I might be a doctor in something, maybe just BS. We would love you guys to use that code. That supports our show. That's how Matt and I get the 7-figure deal, like the folks at CNN, is you go over and click on that.
Yeah. Boy, oh, it hurts. Can you imagine? I mean, guys like that. Who did we watch it? Like Van Jones and
all
these people. Like, they sit there and they just rake in. Anyway, all right. Yes, please go ahead and do that. All right, over at WND.com, because that's where you've discovered the show. That's where you're watching us, and of course, if you haven't and you discovered us elsewhere, WorldNetDaily.com, WND.com. We have the story up there because speaking of CNN, they're in survival mode. The mainstream media, the legacy media, or the corporate media, whatever you want, they're in survival mode because layoffs in the hundreds are coming, including network stars. So like we said earlier, we don't know if Anderson Cooper is going to be finding a new job, Wolf Blitzer, Kirsten, there's that one horrible woman. You're a nasty woman.
Nasty. The resting bee face, that one woman has.
Yeah.
Oh, we just have a comment from Tiny Loves Boston. Dr. Turnbow.
Doctor of Doom and Humor, yes.
Oh, you honor me. Thank you. Yes.
I love it.
Now, the doom's easing up a little bit, though, right? I mean,
how can it not? I mean, there's a lot of great things on the horizon here.
My goodness. Commenting on that story, Matt, that we had, Elon had the tweet, "We are the media now."
That's true.
Yeah, I know the collapse of mainstream media, beautiful to see, but they have earned it 100% by lying to the American people, in every way.
Yeah, and then also just assuming that we're just gonna, a celebrity is out there. Oh, Queen Latifah finally endorsed somebody for the first time ever. Well, then
Queen Latifah, who cares?
Yeah, that's who I want to be with, and it makes me think there's a distinction between celebrities who endorse, like Kamala, the ones that came out and endorsed Kamala, because they came out with this hubris that said like, well, I'm Ben Stiller, I'm Harrison Ford. I'm Harrison. You guys know me. I'm Harrison Ford. Then when you look on the Trump side, you got guys like Kid Rock or Hulk Hogan or Dana White that come out and say, I'm just like you. And this guy's awesome. And we're going to all do this together. Like, they come out with zero hubris. They're very humble when they come out. I never thought I would do this, but here I am. Like, I'm for Trump. Like, this is amazing. And you don't get that from the other side. And the people understand that. And we have a clip here that kind of goes through some of that stuff. Let's watch this.
You know what I think is honestly the best part of the USA elections is that it proves definitely that the mainstream media and celebrities have completely lost their influence in the world, in society. For about 20 years, they've enjoyed fame, riches, and influence, and they had all of that. It is all gone. Like, it is gone. People do not trust the mainstream media. People do not trust celebrities who get on stage and pretend to cry when their job is being an actor. Like you think we're that stupid, right? And then people who sing, like Cardi B, who sing disgusting songs, want to give you political advice, or Taylor Swift. Your job is not a political commentator. People saw right through it. These influencers, these actresses and actors, they mean nothing in society anymore. And to be honest, they enjoyed far too much fame and far too much influence for their job. They were used as puppets to influence people. Same with the mainstream media, people like The View and CNN and things like that. They've enjoyed fame and influence for 20 or 30 years, but it's over. People are looking for alternative news, and they're looking for people to connect with the everyday people. And
there's hope in Australia. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like this show, Matt, alternative media that we are, working for WorldNetDaily.
That's right, and maybe we can buy MSNBC because
only to burn it if possible. But
I mean that would be the thing that we would do. We'd hold us a wonderful special where we would just burn MSNBC. But apparently Comcast is considering selling MSNBC, and when you look at the ratings here. Of some of these shows, Dave Rubin actually tweeted out, or he went through this list as well. If we want to watch what Dave Rubin said about some of this stuff.
See ratings collapse here. Joy Reid, that blonde woman, she's down 55%. Ari Melber, white guy, he's down 50%. Chris Hayes, Muppet, he's down 47%. Alex Wagner, married to Obama's chef, I think, 54%. Morning Joe and his wife, oh God, only down 40%. I'd like to see that number jump a little bit. Stephanie Rule, she's sort of nothing, down 67%. Boy, she's down the most and nobody even knows who she is. And Andrea Mitchell, who is just an utter tool of the machine, down 40%. There's a picture of Brian Stelter there, who's on CNN. It's always nice to see that guy. They're crumbling, and they should crumble, and it's wonderful, and it's great, and it's spectacular.
Yeah, it really is. I love the blonde woman, Joy Reid. That was great.
That blonde woman, Joy Reid. She's terrible. I think I'm looking forward to her meltdown. I expect much more leading up to the inauguration from Joy Reid. Slamming the desk, yelling Hitler, losing it, maybe flipping backwards in her chair. That would be awesome. We can expect that.
Yeah, I think so. And if there is anything that we said earlier that could happen where these folks move on to do alternative media or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you want to call it alternative media now. I mean, did you say somebody had a billion views? We were talking off camera earlier today about somebody has like a billion views now. And they're so MAGA.
There's an Instagram account called House and Habit. And what she did, she was like embedded with the Trump campaign for since the beginning. And she just had amazing coverage of what was happening at Mar-a-Lago and actual, journalistic news, and right. You could like see the inside of what it was like. And this person is not was not a conservative initially, but has kind of come around to being Republican, being pro-Trump. And their website or like her social media like influence hit 1 billion people or 1 billion, however they calculate influence. That's astounding.
Yeah,
and
that's incredible.
That represents I think of her too when I see her content. It's like what Vanity Fair used to be before Vanity Fair went insane. It feels like the replacement of that era, very classy, cool stuff.
When people become awake and they realize what that the media has had their tentacles inside your brain, just pumping in these lies for years and years and years, like you begin to it's so, we've talked about this before. It's so sad. It's so sad when you meet people that are still plugged into that system, and you just want to say to yourself, like, all you have to do is unplug it and like look elsewhere. Like, come to WND, come to WorldNetDaily. Like just venture out. You can always go back. They'll always be there. Unfortunately,
they'll be there. Well, yeah, maybe not for long.
Maybe not for long. Yeah, and you need a safe space to go. And the truth is always the safest space to go. Don Lemon's going to find that out quickly, because here he is with an announcement that due to the new terms of agreement over on X, where because X moved their headquarters from California to Texas, that all of the litigation, everything that would happen if you needed to take something, if you needed to go after Twitter or go after X for some reason, it would take place in X. It would take place in Texas. And Don Lemon says, well, because of that, we're going to just have conservative courts in Texas rule against anything that I would bring it. So I'm leaving, and I'm going to go over to all my other channels. Okay, that's fine.
Have a great time.
Yeah, have a great time.
Yeah.
Yes, that is me. That is it right there.
Ah,
yes.
Such a classic.
I love that meme so much. I've always tried to come up with a scenario, and I can never create one my own. But that is perfect. That is a perfect meme.
Dude,
God bless the memes.
It would be really amazing. So, like, I don't know I grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
And there was no like extreme leftist influence except for like at a weird record store or something where the guy behind the counter had dreadlocks and he smelled horrible. And there was all like these extremist like t-shirts, like super lefty stuff. But that was the only place you could find it. Was this random store. You knew where it was. I'm hoping that the hard left media is relegated to, if you really want to go see Don Lemon, you got to go find his, back of the internet webpage and I don't wish him ill will, but I sure wish to not see him that much.
Yeah. I mean, he has to survive on his own content and what he puts out there. And I think being on X and having a constant barrage of people saying this content sucks, or you're whatever you're saying is wrong, you're a liar, blah blah blah, blah. Like trust me, if he was pulling in major money on X with his content, he would not be going anywhere. And
Mike, this comment from Mike Olson's great. There'll be openings at the meat packing plants for them.
That's so true, man. That's so true. And all the manufacturing plants, everything that's coming back, man. Everything that's coming back. One thing that is here to stay is Dye Free Company. The Dye Free Co. The Kung Fu Grip. Yes.
Here we go.
You guys, look, you see now. Yeah, here it is. Here it is in real life.
No big deal. I just keep this right by the desk.
You have to. I've watched Tim Pool get swatted before. You have to.
It just sits here, guys. This is it. This is the Dye Free Co. Kung Fu Grip. I have one before we ever thought of them as an affiliate or a sponsor. It's fantastic. So the basic idea is you have a better degree of control on the weapon. This is kind of like this is the way to go now. It's not like the classic angular grip, but it's super lightweight. It has amazing texture. It's got their texture is in the handle. It's fantastic. I love the stuff they're doing. Hoping to see some of their t-shirts too soon. So Dye Free Co. Okay.
Yeah. How easy was that to assemble? Just like anything else.
Oh,
right?
There's plenty of videos on YouTube on how you buy this and you put it on your weapon. But
right.
It's what the kids are doing. It's pretty cool. And I like mine a lot. I'm going to get that tan one soon, I think, Matt. Just to go with my aesthetic. I need the right gun furniture for my rifles.
If you're gonna die free, you might as well look good too.
Yeah, guys, if you I would recommend getting one of these grips. They're fantastic. I'm gonna get a couple more. And if you scan the QR code, it'll take you right to their website. And of course, we love them as a sponsor. We love you going there and supporting them. Cool guys too in New Hampshire.
Yes, 100%. That's the die for live free or die state. So it makes sense. We also want to let you know about Uncharted Supply. We opened up the bag. Look, we got this image. What's in this bag?
You got to see what's in the bag.
Yeah, everybody was talking about. Well, you got 72 hours. In every crisis situation, most of them are resolved within 72 hours. And so this bag has everything you need inside for a 72-hour period. You've got everything from gloves and super handy tools and ropes and stuff to simple medicines and ointments and scissors and all everything that you see here, stuff to keep you warm, a hoodie, a shovel. You got all this stuff. It looks like it comes in a dry bag in case you get caught in a flood or a storm. Everything on here. The great thing about this company and what they do is that they're always sourcing out better materials. They're always sourcing out more materials. So this is just a snapshot of this particular bag, but they're always putting in different materials all the time. So you may get a bag that has something slightly different. But go to the link in the description or scan the QR code here, and Uncharted Supply will ship you out the 72-hour survival system. This is it right here, the 72 survival system from Uncharted Supply Company.
Matt, guys, can you go back to that other image? I saw something very important. Okay, listen, everyone always doesn't think about this.
What do you see?
Tweezers. You see the tweezers?
You're right.
I have been so many places. Kids get a splinter or whatever. Okay.
A splinter can take you down. Remember the old yeah, what is that? The fables, Aesop's fables, you know, the elephant with the thing in its foot. I mean,
and especially if the kid's in the back of the car on a long trip and the splinter dad. The splinter.
The splinter.
Open up the 72-hour tweezers.
Folks. All right. Well, we got to wrap it up here. One bit of breaking news, though. We did hear that the senators got together and chose Senator John Thune as their majority leader, which is not the Trump pick. Everybody was hoping to go for Rick Scott, but we'll have more on that next time, the fallout from that. But I say, hey, if that's the pick, then hopefully he'll listen to Trump's agenda and move things forward and be the right person. But if not, primaries are only a couple years away, so we'll see what happens to all those senators.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Josh. We thank everybody for watching over on Rumble. Let's throw up the Rumble slide.
Yeah, guys, like we love you watching us. I see Facebook, YouTube. We love all that, and those are easy. But we'd love you to go over, like, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button on the Rumble for us, y'all. Because I'll give you an example. Click that QR code; it'll take you directly over there. That's where our content is and does not get bothered. Is one way. YouTube specifically is awful. So check this out. I'll just show you. Okay. So you bring that ad down for me. So like I get an email as we run the accounts. Okay. I get an email from YouTube almost every day, and it says, this can't be monetized. This can't be shown. This is blocked. And it's from stuff like showing someone else's like tweet that has a song in it or something. It's so dumb. And I wish it wasn't like this. It is. So like, you know, Rumble is the place to be. Also our X account. We love our X account. It doesn't have this kind of stuff. We're not blocked from showing you. And this is news. And, you know, it's just become, you know, YouTube just become like the content DMV. They're banging you for every little thing. And that's why we love Rumble. So also Telegram, also Instagram. Love you to follow us on all of our channels. There you go. The Instagram's a lot of fun. Rumble completely, you know, you'll see stuff you didn't know you needed to see, but it's uncensored and
boom.
Boom. We'd love you to follow us. And hey, if you made it this far in the stream, we really appreciate it. We really love you coming here.
Yes. And Josh, for all those that are still here,
yeah.
Guess what? A real quick, President Trump dropped another announcement on Truth Social.
See? You got to watch till the end every time.
You got to watch till the end. He announces his White House senior staff. Dan Scavino is back. He will be Deputy Chief of Staff and Assistant to the President.
Yep.
Stephen Miller will be back as Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor. And James Blair will serve as an assistant to the president for the legislative, political, public affairs. Yeah, there it is there. And Taylor Budowich. Is that not related to Pete Buttigieg?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But this guy, who I just or her, I don't know. It's a Taylor, so I have no idea. But whoever this person is Deputy Chief of Staff for Communications and Personnel, and these are all folks that were working on his campaign as well, and were in the White House previously. So these are good names. I like this list here, and that's a good sign. So. All right, folks.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, right? Okay, well, keep up to those breaking news. Follow us on X and all those other places, and we will be back here on Friday for the Great Friday Show, my favorite show.
Oh, Matt, our X accounts. We got to throw those up. Let's do that real quick. True Matt Edwards, guys. Follow Matt.
That's me, yes.
On X. Okay, you're going to see a lot of great stuff there. Matt's super political in the best way possible. And if you wonder what the Nephilim are, if you want to know about conspiracy theories, that's over on my X account too, Josh _Turnbow. Man, I cover a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm doing politics right now, but a lot of stuff. I'm going to say it's interesting to me, okay? Maybe it's interesting to you, but if you want to see any of that, you can follow us over there. And of course, we are both retweeting all the WorldNetDaily stories, which you can see over at WorldNetDaily on X, which just a lot of content here, Matt. There's a lot of content.
It's so good. It's so good. We might have to make this. We might have to make this a daily show and morning and nighttime show. We might have to just be on all the time.
Hey, if you want more, put that comment in, okay?
That's right. Yeah. But before then, we'll be back here on Friday. Take care, everybody. God bless.
Thank you.